Hello friends, you're the Lonesome Gamer, and today I'm gonna play Lobotomy. And I'm also gonna try to play From the Deep, the expansion of the game. Now, I've already did a playthrough a few months ago, and I enjoyed the game quite a bit. I really liked it actually, and I promised to do another playthrough once I painted the miniatures, which I did, as you can see here. And after playing now a couple of games, I realized that I didn't enjoy the scenarios a lot. To me, they didn't felt very play-tested. Many felt quite vague and ambiguous, and there were a lot of FAQs on BGG, yeah, it was sometimes really hard to play one of these scenarios, and you have to fight through these extra rules, and some of them were, in my opinion, also very hard, to a point where it just wasn't enjoyable anymore. In addition to that, I also didn't enjoy the way the expansion was incorporated into the base game too much. What you basically do is you gotta split your party, and a few guys will then face a specific threat in the basement of the asylum, and if they manage to do that, they can come back with a kind of a cool artifact and then join the party again. But while they are down there, the party in the asylum is really vulnerable, and both parties will have to pay quite some resources, and also they will lose time. So I don't know if it really makes a lot of sense the way they incorporated this. At least I didn't enjoy it too much, and I tried to find another solution for that. So I want to set up the game and then explain a little bit yeah, my ideas here. Okay, so we're ready to go. Now let me first introduce you in this scenario of mine. The basic rules stay the same with a very few exceptions. Now the goal of the inmates is to escape the asylum, and to do this they have to find an underground tunnel, and that is where From the Deep comes into play. It's somewhere there, down in the deep there. And if we found that tunnel, what we're going to do is we're going to randomly draw one of these minor scenarios and then play that out. 2 of my 3 players, and I can choose which one, are allowed to try these scenarios. You might imagine they went a little bit ahead into the tunnel, and the last guy fell a little bit behind. And if these 2 guys can solve that last challenge, then these guys, all 3 of them, managed to escape. But first we got to find the tunnel, and to do that we have to find a map of the museum, or pieces of a map, and there's always as many pieces as there are players, and at the moment we got these 3 X markers to indicate that. So these are the 3 pieces of the map. And you can find them in lockers. But it's kind of a special action. You have to announce, I want to search especially for this map piece. And if you do that, you can roll 7 dice, no matter what your imagination is. You always roll 7 dice. And if you have 7 successes, you found that map piece. Okay, that sounds pretty unlikely. But in addition to that, there are clue tokens on the board. These here. And I spawned at the beginning 2 randomly on each quarter of the board. So we got for now 8 clue tokens. More will appear a little later during the game, but for now it's 8. And players can pick up these clue tokens using 1 action if there is no monster with them in the same space. And if they then search a locker for the map, they can trade clue tokens for successes. So basically you want probably 3 or 4 clue tokens before you start searching, so that it becomes like a reasonable option, because you got 7 dice and the odds are 50-50 per die, and you want 7 successes, so it definitely helps if you have 3 or 4 clue tokens, but of course you can also take a higher risk. If you fail, the locker goes away. You are allowed to use imaginable lockers when there is no more locker on the board. Remember, there is this rule that you can use one of your sanity health to find an imaginary locker, and then you can search that locker, and in this way you can get more lockers basically than there are here on the board. But that is only allowed if there are no more lockers there. Of course, it is still possible to search lockers the normal way. You know, you use your imagination rating and do a search test, and then you can find your standard stuff, medics, weapons or equipment. But if you want to search for the map piece, you have to announce that before you roll 7 dice, and then either it works or not. Now if it works, you will get one of these pieces, and in addition to that you get an artifact. There we go. There's a bunch of artifacts here that come also with the expansion, and these are pretty powerful items, and they will then help you to fulfill that last challenge. If you found 3 of these, and it's not absolutely necessary that each player finds exactly 1. You can also, one player can do the fighting. We will probably see something like that in this game here. And the other players will probably then try to find these map pieces. Then, as I've already said, we go into the tunnel. And that is when the game here completely freezes compared to the from the deep scenario where this game still goes on, this is not the case. The game on this map simply ends at that point. And then in the tunnel, we try to fulfill the mission following the rules that are then explained in the scenario book of From the Deep. However, we will still draw these movement cards here. And if we draw a card with a red star, and only then Cthulhu or the Warden, in this case it's Cthulhu, he will then continue to move another space. And if he moves, he can only move these 12 spaces here in this first board. And of course he will move during the normal game before we go into the tunnel. He will just follow the normal movement rules where the movement card simply indicates if he will move or not. And if he has to go beyond 12, he will attack the players. If we are in the tunnel, the guy will only move if there's a red star. And if he then has to go beyond number 12, the game immediately ends. There will be no final battle or whatsoever. So this is basically the scenario. I have very few house rules to make the game. Well, I don't know if it's... Overall, it might be a little easier. I follow these optional monster rule that if a blue star shows up on one of these movement cards, I will spawn one of these elite monsters, and there's a maximum of elite monsters allowed on the board equal to the number of players, so we will not see more than 3 elite monsters at the same time on the board. If we draw a movement card with a red star, I'm going to roll a die, and on a 1 to 3, a boss monster will show up. That's definitely a problem then. And no more than 1 boss monster can be on the board at the same time. If I draw another star, it is simply ignored until the first boss monster should be killed. If I kill one of these elite monsters, I give me a little reward. If that should happen, then Cthulhu moves back 1 space on this insomnia track. That's how his march through the rooms here is called in the rules. If I manage to kill a boss, I mean, these are, in the normal scenarios, these are, well, the final battles usually. If I manage to kill a boss, I will... I have a choice. I can either choose to move Cthulhu back 2 spaces or up to 2 spaces. And by the way, moving back Cthulhu after killing one of these monsters is also a choice. It can be a bad idea if a hero is standing in the space where he would end up when he moves back, so it's optional. And if you kill one of these bosses, you can choose if you want to move him back up to 2 spaces, or if you want to get a piece of the map, including an artifact. Okay, What else? Well, a little bit. These bosses, there are some... let me see. Some of these suckers are really strong. Yeah, okay. Here we go. This guy, for example, or most of them actually are, and I think they're just too strong for me. So here, for example, we got the body snatcher, and here's just this fixed life point. Okay, that's fine. Some of them have life points that say, for example, 4 times the number of players, or this guy here. Now, because these guys are just, they are not our final enemies or something, so I want to make it a little easier. It's only 2 times the number of players, which is still pretty hefty, I mean, these guys are really ugly suckers, and so if you got to fight them, I think it's just fair if they are a little easier than they would be as the final enemy in the standard scenario. So let's see, we have 3 heroes. There is Arnie Connors, I did that randomly basically, and yeah, he's basically our fighter. He has a fairly low imagination of only 5, but he has a high defense of 2. He's got a very good attack value of 3, very high life points, but he's terribly slow. And his madness track is also fairly short. So he's the guy for the fighting, there is no doubt about that. He has a club, and in addition, he's got some nice abilities here. This is the dehumanization. Roll a free attack die with his attack. So he gets 5 dice plus a free attack die, which is nice. And he can add another one, but that's gonna be tricky with his madness track. Then he has here the shockwave, which is pretty awesome. 7 dice, range of 1, or he can also do a this kind of area attack, area damage. So 4 dice for each enemy in a range of 1. Definitely cool. And finally, it's this one here. It says Flex. All monsters on your space attack you instead of other characters, and you gain +1 shield for this round. Okay. And here we've got his miniature. A lot of muscles, no doubt here. Then we got Dale Walker. And oops, he's got a, well, also his imagination isn't too great, but he's got a good combat rating, high life points, so he's also definitely a great fighter. He starts with a gas pipe. Yeah, pretty dark. And he's got this all-out strike, which is really insane. 10 dice, +1 to attack rolls. The defense becomes 0, but still that's an insane attack. So that gives him then also an attack value of 3 with 10 dice. You can do a ton of damage with this strike. Then he's got the swiftness, gain avoidance 4 for this round. So For each damage he takes, he rolls a die, and every die which is equal, or every result which is equal 4 or higher, is negated. And then we got this one here, Blade Equilibrist. Attack twice, and you can choose different targets, and that gives you 6 dice and some special stuff here. I'm not sure what it actually is, gotta check that. And this is now our more clever guy, and it's Marcus Dieter. He's got a pretty high madness track, a imagination of 8, no defense, sucks, not too great at attack, but he's got a lot of, he can take quite a bit of damage, so that's not too bad at least. Oh, and I forgot to check to read the special abilities. He suffers from God syndrome, but that allows him to lose 1 wound, to recover 2 wounds to a character on the same space. You can do that once per round, so that's kind of cool. He uses the Lobotomy spike, 4 dice, and if he rolls a 6, which is really not well readable, you can add 1 attack die. He has here the Holy Nova, recover 2 life points to all characters in an area of 2, or in a range of 2, which is pretty awesome. I think that also affects himself, so that is a very powerful card. Then we have here personnel only. Move 3 spaces in any direction, ignore monsters, gain +2 defense for this round. And finally Ghostbuster. That is a massive attack of 8 dice. For each 6 result adds an extra attack die. And I think this negates the defense of the defender. So that is also a very powerful attack. Now this guy here is nervous. Good old Arnie. So he will lose 1, or he can lose 1 life point to gain 1 additional action, but only once per turn. This guy is an acrobat. Lose 1 life point to move 2 spaces in any direction. You can leave spaces with monsters and gain +1 to attack rolls until the end of the round. He can also do this only once per turn, but that's still pretty good. Here we have the miniature of Dale Walker. With his sword here. And here we have our good doctor. And I love his pyjama with the white stripes here. You can see that here a little better. I think it's really cool, and yeah, his shoes here, just great. Okay, so yeah, what's the tactics? Well, I've seen here, we have here 2 clue tokens right next to each other, which is pretty awesome. And in addition, we have a locker and a memory shrine. So that is a very, very valuable room here. The doctor is going to go there, and he's going to fight that guy. I think he can do it. And then he's going to try to take all that stuff. And that brings him nearly already in the position to try to find the first map piece, but I think he will wait until he finds another clue token. The clue tokens here, they kind of suck. I mean, here in this one, we have Cthulhu in this room. So it's kind of dangerous to hang out here with him in the same room. We could go here, but you know, that's a little far away. Just for one clue token to go there, and I don't know. I think that these are not. I wasn't too lucky here with my spawn rules in this map piece. Here it's better. We have here the garden, and there are 2 clue tokens here. They're not that close to each other. You got to move through these garden doors here. These are fences or something. You cannot just go from here to here. But still, that's pretty cool. And over here, and I think that's where Dale Walker is going to go. He wants to enter this room here, check out this clue token, and then maybe read 1 or 2 of these shrines here. And just want to show you here I'm pretty proud the way I painted these guys. I think overall this game became really beautiful. And yeah, then we can leave the room here through this door, enter this room, and grab this clue token. And then we also already have 2, and then we might go into this direction. So we'll see how it turns out. And by the way, I forgot to mention one thing. If I draw a movement card with a green star, I'm gonna spawn 1 clue token randomly on the board. So that's pretty important, obviously. Okay, so Arnie is going to start that whole thing, and he's got 2 actions. So I'm going to move out here into this center space, and with my second action I'm going to search that body here, and I found some pills. So yeah, let's see what we get. Trazodone, recover 1 sanity. We can use that stuff twice. That's pretty awesome for him. That's really cool because he has only 5 sanity, so that is very valuable for him. Really cool. Dale. Okay, so we're gonna follow our plan. We've got 3 actions with him. So I'm simply gonna move 1, 2, and then I'm gonna open the door, and look at that. The door is already open. By the way, I was always considering a house rule which somehow would allow you to close doors behind you. I think that would be kind of cool, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, it probably makes the game too easy and influences the gameplay too much. To kind of keep the monsters outside or something, but then you can hide too easily inside these rooms. But it would be cool if there would be an option to somehow do this. I mean, it would also make a lot of sense. And then finally it's this guy here, and yeah, I mean, the problem is maybe he's gonna move here first, but then I might actually want to start him here. That makes more sense. 1, 2, 3, and shit, I don't know if I really want to do that. Because, I mean, this guy is obviously a problem. If I cannot run there, well, maybe I could. No, I can't. Because then he moves out and he will attack me right away. So that kind of sucks. So I think I'm simply going to move 1, 2, 3. And then I have 2 attacks in the next turn to bring him down. So let's see what the movement card shows us. Well, it says no event this time, which is kind of neat. We got to spawn a memory shrine. So we use the 4-sider and the 12-sider, and that isn't that great. It's again on this quarter here, where I probably won't be too often. And we see here in space 2, so that is right next to Cthulhu. Definitely not interesting for me at the moment. And so let me see. Oh yeah, we're gonna move him one space, so he's there. And then we gotta spawn, first we gotta move the monsters, and then we gotta spawn a scavenger and a nurse. And just want to give you a short impression of my mental patients here. These are the guys here. And yeah, they're gonna move out one space here, and here we have a scavenger. They look a little weird, but I think they are a little weird. So he moves 2 spaces, so he ends up here. And these guys move 1 space, 2 spaces. This sucker here, he's gonna move out there, and this guy is already pretty close. Remember, they can move through non-revealed doors. Just if a door is revealed and it ends up being closed or blocked, then the monsters are blocked too. Finally here, we're going to move 1, 2 spaces in this direction, and this guy's going to move out here. Okay. And then we're going to spawn another scavenger. That is a 3 and a 4. So let me see where this guy he ends up here. More work for Arnie, I think. And we have a nun. And that is on a 4 and an 11. That's right there. Well, okay, I mean, she's not too much in the way there. I gotta take her out of the box. Okay, so here she is. The legs never end. And she's got some red hair here. I'd have to give all these similar miniatures a little different look. For example, here the mental patients. This guy has blonde hair. This guy has some black hair. And I think I also got, he doesn't have any hair at all. And yeah, I'm really proud of this. I think this is my best paint job that I did until now. I'm not doing many paint jobs. Most of them my mom does. If you follow my videos, you already know that. But this was something I really wanted to do on my own, because I really like the miniatures. And yeah, I invested basically 2 weeks of holidays, and because I'm not very fast, but it was a great time. So, Dale Walker. Now, he's simply going to enter here, the room, 1, 2, and as a third action, he's going to pick up the clue token, and that's already it. Marcus, yeah, he wants to fight this guy. So that's his first action. And now let's see. Do we want to use... I mean, I think I can actually afford to use the Ghostbuster. For now, there's not too much that we can await. There are not any other monsters in the area. So I think I can use that thing. And it only takes a few turns to recover, not too many. And if I use that thing and kill the guy, I can move it one space down right away. So I think that's kind of cool. And I got 8 dice. Each 6 results adds an extra attack die. So that's pretty awesome. Oops, shit. Okay, 2, 4, 6, 8. There we go. And as I said, I think this is a ghostly marker. Let me find these rules here. There we go. Yeah, exactly. So there we go. Ghostly. If enemy is non-ethereal, its defense is 0. That definitely helps. So I think we have pretty good odds. Although it's not that easy. I mean, he's got still 4 wounds. But let me see. Here we go. An extra attack die. Okay, so we get another die. It's as simple as that. Okay. Wow. Holy fuck, was that bad. Oh boy, no hit. That is... Wow, what a start, man. Okay, now that definitely sucks. That was not quite what I expected. So it seems we have to do it the brutal way. I'm going to use my lobotomy spike. And wow, was that bad. And I'm going to add one of these attack dice here and hope for the best. Ridiculous. That wasn't great either. Basically, I simply do a single damage because this guy has 1. And I didn't roll a 6 again. Oh boy, was that a bad start. So I only did 1 damage because of this. And this was blocked by its defense. Wow. Holy shit. Unbelievable. Okay, and then it's good old Arnie, and he's got, yeah, what is he gonna do? I think he wants to move away 1 space from these suckers, and I don't see a lot that he can do otherwise. And then in the next turn, he can attack the scavenger with the club. Yeah, makes sense. I think I want to do that. But if I would stay here, I would get attacked by him right away, and that's something I want to avoid. Okay, so, at least Dieter sucked pretty hard here. Now let's see what we draw as a movement. Hellfire waits. Mental patients have, oh fuck, fire attacks for this turn. That's pretty bad for Dieter. We have to spawn, or we are allowed to spawn 1 clue token. So let's see where that ends up. That's 2, 1. That sounds not bad. 2 is possibly, yeah, that's kind of cool. That's here. So that is good. If Dieter doesn't fuck this up completely, he can grab these clue tokens here, read this thing, search the locker, move out again, enter here, grab this clue token, and then he can already try to find the map here at that point. So that looks like a pretty decent start for him, if, as I said, he doesn't screw up this guy here, and that kind of sucks. Okay, what else? Let me see. Yeah, we got to move him again, so he goes here. And then we're going to move or activate our guys. And there we already have now kind of this problem that... I mean, it still takes a while until the scavenger will be with Dieter, so... maybe I can place Arnie in line of sight of this guy so that he kind of turns around and then moves towards him. Down here, this guy now also comes closer, and he moves here. Here we got him moving, and yeah, he moves actually now here. And that guy leaves yeah, he ends up here. And I think, yeah, of course, these guys also move. So he goes here, which isn't too great, and he goes here. And the nurse leaves the room and goes here. So that means we'll see an attack here. And the mental patient has now fire. Let's see what that means. Enemy defense reduced by 1. Okay, so we don't have any defense anyway. So that means it probably also doesn't make a lot of sense to use a defense die. So I just hope for the best. Well, I could use that on the next turn, maybe. Well, that's kind of funny. That I don't know if this is actually an action or not, because here's no action marker. Maybe I would have another action with Dieter, but I'm not positive about that. Attack twice. Okay, so first of all, I don't remember if I rolled a 1 with the lobotomy spike, but I think at that point it's, yeah, okay. I mean, fuck it. And second of all, I think I actually did have one more action. So I'm gonna do another attack here with the lobotomy spike against that guy. Because I think attacking with a skill that shows no action symbol, like these ones, for example, I think it's free. At least it says in the rules, if you attack with a skill, pay the number of actions indicated. So I guess it's cool. Okay, I mean, oh boy. So this time it's definitely a 1, and I'm gonna place a marker here. Boy, is that bad. He's definitely, I mean, maybe he should get his ass out of his pajama and start to wake up. I mean, this is completely ridiculous what he's doing here. Let me see, if we rolled by now 16 dice, 8 for that, and 8 with the lobotomy spike overall. So he rolled 16 dice, and he rolled exactly once a 5, and not once a 6. I mean, what are the odds, right? Holy shit. Okay, anyway, now we're probably gonna see a massive attack of the mental patient. That's usually how it works, you know. You always fuck up your rolls for the heroes, but then, maybe not. We'll see. So, let's see. And, yeah, it's also not that great. That's only a single hit, so that's cool. So Dieter takes 1 damage, and he definitely, or Marcus takes 1 damage, and he definitely can live with that. And that's all that happens for now. And I forgot to spawn these 2 suckers here. So we're gonna see a scavenger 411. So he also shows up here, which is for now fine. I mean, it's a little risky. If too many of these suckers accumulate here, sooner or later we'll have a big bunch of monsters in the center, and Arnie has to deal with them all. But, I mean, if someone can do it, then he can, and we'll find a way to handle it. I'm kind of optimistic, at least until now. At the beginning I always am, but that changes then during the game. But you can already see, I mean, there are 2 here, there are 2 here, and yeah. Okay, and then we have a mental patient, and he's also in this... oh, actually that should have been a scavenger here, I think. Yeah, so that should have been the mental patient, goes on space 4. So he's here, and he can leave here through the door right away. And the scavenger is here. Fine. So, and it's the heroes again, and the first player token goes here. Okay, so we start with Marcus again, and he definitely has to prove now his value. So he's gonna use again his lobotomy spike, and let's hope that he realizes now that he should do something. And I'm gonna take once more this damage die, and yeah, so this is my first action now. Okay, that's something. That's pretty awesome. So we can use another of these, which is awesome, and we have a 1, so that means sadly one of these lobotomy spikes, or this thing, gets used once more, and oh, well, that's worth nothing actually, which kind of sucks. But okay, so we did 3 damage now to the guy overall. And sadly, that's not quite enough. He can take 5 damage, so that means we have to do another attack. And in this attack, we have to do 2 damage because he has that 1 defense. So it's not that easy to do it. So I think I want to use again my lobotomy spike. And that's kind of a shame, but I have to do it. So let's see. We need 2 damage. Fuck, that's not easy. And that wasn't good enough. Shit. And again, a 1. So, fuck it. I gotta try it again, one last time. And it is possible that if I fucked up the first time, if I rolled a 1 there, that I shouldn't have this weapon anymore. But okay, I mean, that is life. Now I'm gonna use another once my sanity. It's kind of painful here, but okay. I mean, maybe I shouldn't use that thing. And just go with a bare fist. Use 3 dice and my sanity. That should do it. I think that should do it. Maybe I can keep the lobotomy spike then 1 more turn. Or for 1 more fight. So yeah, I'm gonna do it that way. And yeah, that's enough. We got 2 hits and another damage. So we managed to kill that guy, but it took us all his actions, and that's not good because that means pretty soon we'll have to face this guy here too. But maybe I can kind of manipulate him with, yeah, I think I can do it. I think I might manage to be in this room when this sucker shows up here, and then he will turn around if Arnold sits in the center. So I think I can do that. But yeah, it took me now 3 actions to kill that guy, but I can reduce this by 1. That's at least something. Okay, and yeah, then it's Arnie, and he has 2 attacks, so 2 actions, so he moves in here. And then, I mean, it's a little tricky there, because he will be attacked by 2 guys. The scavenger here, that one. But okay, I mean, we gotta live with it. So I'm gonna move in there and simply attack the guy with my club. Problem I have is that, yeah, it would be useful to find a weapon for him, but for now the club is good enough. But one time it will be exhausted, and then if he doesn't have any weapon, it kind of sucks. So maybe we can give him something or whatever. We'll find out. Okay, so yeah, he's got 5 dice. I mean, the thing is, we might even consider, how many hits do we need? We need 3 hits to kill the scavenger. I thought about using my fists, but that's too risky. I only have a single action left, so I don't think I want to do that. I think I'm going to use the club for now. Yeah, that's hard to tell. Yeah, I'm gonna use the club. Okay, so yeah, we need a 3 or higher. Sadly, we got a 1 again. But yeah, that's definitely enough to kill the guy. And but we also have to place one of these tokens on the club. Dale Walker, he moves 2 spaces here and then reads, let's do it that way then, I mean, guy's reading, reads the memory shrine. So he draws a card. And that is not too great. That's memory strip 3. Nobody gets admitted to this facility without meeting the warden first. After serving you tea, he sits smiling and waits, nodding after you take each sip. Before you realize, you've become catatonic. You cannot move, but you can feel, especially the pain when the chief administrator starts to perform a vivisection on you with his bare hands. Before you pass out, you can see that he measures your organs carefully and writes the numbers down in a worn notebook. You can only imagine what he needs the data for. So we got to roll an imagination test, and if we make it, we can move the warden 1 space backwards. So that would be kind of cool. We have a 6, so we have... No, that's not true. Yeah, we got an imagination of 6, exactly. So we got to be equal or less 6. That's not going to be that easy. And we blew it. Okay, anyway, so the shrine goes away. But hey, we got our first memory strip, and remember, if you got 2 of these, and there would be the second one here, we can trade them for one of these special abilities, and they are very strong. Okay, we got another problem here. Can't run, can't hide. So that sucks, especially for Arnie. The monsters gain 1+1 action for the turn. I hate that card. Okay, so that means we start with the movement. This guy can move here, so he can't reach us, which is good, but it was close. And this guy, however, will reach us. 1, 2, 3. Now this is one of these really nasty cards, because you do your calculations and it all works out fine, and then they come up with this shit. So this guy is also definitely faster. Do we have a line of sight from here to Arnie? That's an interesting question. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we do. So he moves here. This guy moves here. This guy moves here. And even that sucker can move 2 spaces here. So he's definitely in some trouble. He goes here 2 spaces. The nurse goes there too. 1, 2, 3. And this sucker goes also here. Yeah, that's a problem. No doubt that's a problem. We're allowed to spawn a new clue token though. Maybe we're lucky here. So that's 1 and 3, and that is again not too great. Oh, actually it is. It's not bad. I thought it would be in this area, but actually it's up there. So, well, we'll find out. But yeah, I think this is not exactly where I want to hang out, but I might have to go then later in the game. I might maybe have to go there. If all the ones down here are gone, maybe that's what I have to do. Okay, and let me see. Yeah, then we're gonna spawn 2 more scavengers. Oh, shit. Damn it. So, there we are. So the first one is 3, 7. That's here. And the second one is 4, 2. Okay, oh boy. Come on. Oh man, what am I doing here? So this guy ends up here. Okay, now let's see. Let's start here. That's a little easier to handle. You see a combat between the scavenger and Dale. Okay, I mean, he's got a defense of 1. I think, well, I wonder, I think I can afford to use my swiftness. Yeah, I think that's cool. So, got an avoidance of 4. So if I roll 4 or higher, for every damage I take, the damage is neglected. And we will see now the attack of the scavenger, which isn't too bad. It's a 5 dice. The precision goes through the defense. So each 6 means that it goes through the defense. Yeah, okay, that's not too bad. I take a single hit. But maybe even not that. I'm gonna roll a die. Yeah, fuck. Okay, so I take 1 damage, but I guess that's okay. And now it gets tricky, because now it's Arnie, and he has to face quite some guys. Now I wonder if there is something I can do. What about that? Well, I think that's the right time to use the flex. All monsters on your space attack you instead of other characters. Well, that's obvious the case, but I get a +1 defense. So I got an overall defense of 3, which is pretty impressive, I think. So I wonder, I think I'm gonna start with the mental patient, because he's a little less dangerous. These guys have precision. So, oh no, I'm gonna do it the other way around, of course. I'm gonna start with the scavengers and then at the end use the mental patients, because For every attack on the same space that happened before the actual attacker gets an extra die. So basically, you want to handle the most dangerous suckers at the beginning so that they have the least dice. Okay, so first the scavenger's got 5 dice, the first one, and he tries to attack Arnie. The problem is, no matter how much defense I have against these guys, if they roll a 6, it's gonna be a hit. Yeah, fuck. Okay, so that was a bad roll. So they got 2 6s. The 5 I'm fine with, but I take 2 damage for these 2 6s. Bad luck here. Now it's the next scavenger. He gets an extra die. Yeah, okay, that's another 6 here. The 5 is fine, but another 6. Oh man. And finally, we have now 7 dice for the mental patient. But now he doesn't have that precision thing, so for him he's not that dangerous. Oh, holy fuck. Remember how I rolled for the other guy, for this sucker here? Now I'm much better. But anyway, I only take a single damage, luckily, because of this flexibility. So, but it was pretty painful. I mean, seriously, I took 4 damage during this fucking round. That sucked. But okay, I mean, yeah, that was definitely not too lucky. Well, the doctor is a good healer. Maybe he can make a run or something and help Arnie out. Maybe even give him a weapon. That could be a plan, you know, that we say, okay, we move in here, try to find a weapon, and then run back, and then somehow trade with him the weapon, give him life points. We can give him pretty easily 4 life points with the Holy Nova and the God Syndrome. That's pretty awesome. So we can do this. It will cost us 2 actions. No, actually only 1 action. This doesn't cost an action, it seems to me. So, and then you can heal 4 life points. So that's an option. Just do the shit here, run here, help him out, and then go back here. I mean, it's a shame because this is all so close. Or maybe I could say, okay, I'm gonna try to do this first and then go back. But we're gonna see how he's doing here in the center. I think he doesn't have anything to heal, which kind of sucks, but yeah. Okay, anyway. So that's it. I think I'm going to load this up now. And we're going to definitely see some wild fighting Arnie in the next turn. He can use the shockwave, for example. That is definitely useful. He's got this 4 dice for each enemy. So if he's lucky there, he might be able to do quite some damage. But on the other hand, you know, I don't know, man, 4 dice, that's hard to tell. Is it that great? I don't know, it's not that super good. We still would have quite some problems there. Well, we'll see in the next turn, I guess.